Hey everybody, it's Plasma1945 coming to you with a video on Battlefield. So this video is going to focus on the vehicles I spotted. I'm playing this footage back at 25%, so we can really take a look at the vehicles that are here. And what we've got here is we have an aircraft heading towards that cliff. The aircraft is firing flares and it has a missile coming at it. This aircraft is a vertical takeoff craft similar to an Osprey, but what you got to keep in mind is it has no prop blades on it, or at least none we can see. So this is a futuristic jet-powered VTOL aircraft and looks like it's heading over to a mountain base radar installation. That's the big circle over there. That is a radar dome because a radar hides in there from other weather phenomenon. So there is a missile on it. The VTOL is dropping flares, but there's our explosion. Pieces are flying everywhere. That level of smoke, detail, and pieces of junk flying off the aircraft is pretty impressive. And what we can tell here is the combatants, other than the protagonist or the main character on the screen, are wearing the digital ice camo, which is similar to what you would see in Russian or Ukrainian forces. They are wielding AK variants. I'm guessing this would be like an AK-200 variant. You can see this guy here as well. And the reason I'm guessing it's an AK-200 is because it is using the foldable stock of the modern design. So let's keep this going. There they go. Now, as for the protagonist here, the protagonist is not using an AK weapon. It's a different gun altogether. Let's pause on this VTOL for a second. I see no rotor blades. To me, this looks like a jet-powered VTOL. Maybe a new version of the Osprey. Comes in for a crash. There's that guy with the AK. Pushes our other protagonist off the mountain, and down goes our protagonist. So much for our radar installation, but the dome looks like it's still there. Free fall. Lots of equipment on this person. We've got, what do we have here? Looks like we've got some Semtex, we've got extra mags. Let's keep this going. Go for that free fall. Now, and we are looking at a downtown area. Now, vehicle-wise, we can definitely see a transport helicopter up there that to me looks like a Puma. Doesn't look like a Russian Mi-26 M1A type helicopter. We've got another one of those VTOLs up here. Now this was very interesting. I don't know if a lot of you caught it, but the robot dog fell from the sky, and this is similar to the Boston Dynamics Hound dogs. And of course this is our military version. Hopefully it has a fusion drive for its power source, because all that armor, batteries probably wouldn't run it for too long. Now this is a stop when you miss it scene. This to me looks like a Merkava variant, or it may be a newer NATO tank, but very similar to the Merkava. We've got the modular armor on the front here, and we can actually see where the armor replacements are. It's got our smoke dispersion grenade launchers, remote turret for our machine gun cannon, high caliber, and there's a few of them moving through. The fact that it's got the chevrons on the side of it looks like those may be Merkavas. There's our launch of a Sabo round by the looks of it, and it takes out this tank here in the front, which has the profile of the Russian T-14 Armata tank. We're actually going to see it up close in a few more moments here. The tank gets blown up nicely. I'm playing this back at quarter speed, so there's of course all kinds of unpleasantries. Now, this particular scene with the ships, this could be India or South Korea, where there are large ship-breaking yards. There comes the big wall, yay. Down it goes, crushes all those guys. And here we have the transition now. These guys all have AK variants. That's a AR variant. And this guy right here, so watch his rifle. That's either some sort of an integrated suppressor, but it could also be an EMP type weapon, because it is very similar to what is used against drones. So against those robot dogs, I bet you there might be some sort of an EMP weapon. Take out electronics and other fun stuff. Standard shotgun. This guy has Canadian Forces tags on him. Those look very Canadian. Tell me if I'm wrong. No, that's definitely Canadian Forces. So it looks like you can use any weapon you want, whether a Canadian will have a NATO weapon or a Russian weapon. They're all mowed down here. And retreat, retreat, retreat. Yeah, those look like C7 variants. But our main protagonist here looks to have actually a Russian weapon. So our Canadian character is carrying an AK-200 type variant of a rifle. Yeah, that's right. Get out of there. Oof. Gets stabbed by Espinosa. So a Canadian guy gets stabbed by an Espinosa guy with all kinds of crazy tattoos. Interesting. And you collect the dog tag. Yay. Alright, so we're at the port map, running through. A lot of soldiers, a lot of explosions, everything looks fantastic. We're back to wielding the AK weapon. Alright, so we're in the Antarctic map. Everything is melting. So much for global warming. We've got a couple of hovercraft here. These are used by US and other special forces around the world. And one of those ice tanks, I think they grabbed that directly from Fast and Furious 8, I think. But okay, sure. I'm not going to count that as a proper vehicle, but the LCACs are fairly common, especially the smaller ones like that, the hovercraft type vehicles. Alright, blasting along, we are at a space launch facility. Now, this space launch facility, if I had to make a guess, could either be in Hainan, which is an island off the coast of China. It's a Chinese launch center. It also could be Cape Kennedy or Cape Canaveral, but I'm going to wager and guess that this is actually going to be in Equatorial Guinea, where the Ariane space launch happens using some Russian and some French rockets. And this does look to me like a French Ariane type rocket, even though of course the launch looks completely off and nothing that we have right now. The boosters are tiny on the side, those are little solid rocket boosters. Beautiful nozzle light up. Alright, so we have that helicopter in the background again. Now this helicopter to me looks like an Mi-26 Russian heavy lift helicopter. Rocket is taking off. This could also be something like an Angara or a Proton type variant of a space launch vehicle, but the dimensions are all wrong. The SRBs on the side are way too tiny. Maybe it's an Elon Musk rocket, who knows. The fact that they've animated things falling off the rocket, this is actually really funny. That is supposed to be inspired, I guess, by the Saturn I launches because of the cryogenic buildup on the rocket, but depending on the fuel and current designs, that actually wouldn't be happening on modern rockets. You don't see that much stuff falling off of them these days. Alright, so I guess we are heading off to Saudi Arabia, or maybe this is Korea, because there were some Korean logos and signs. I'm not sure where in Korea you would have deserts like that with these types of buildings, but okay. Currently Korea doesn't have deserts, but who knows what's going to happen in 20-30 years. We have a little bird being chased by a Ka-50 or a Ka-52. No, that is a Ka-52. You've got the two pilots sitting side by side. So it's not a Ka-50. Different profile. Fire some rounds. I'll go the other way. Okay, buddy. Head on the other way. On this chopper, it looks like we've got some unguided rockets here on the two pods, and on the outer pods we have either air-to-ground or air-to-air missiles. Those are most likely air-to-ground missiles. Really awesome animation. I love it. That little bird is trying to get away. Also, it's using, in that previous scene, the little bird also had the unguided rockets. And it survives. And go pixelation. So the little bird gets to the roof, and who do we have here? We have a medic. Let's keep going. Oh yeah, that's right. So we've got a little bird. Yeah, we've got some unguided rockets. We've got a targeting pod, which in most cases you will not need unless you're doing surveillance, but sure, let's put that on there anyway with stabilization. And we've got a couple of Vulcan autocannons. They do look pretty small. I think that Vulcan cannon should be a bit bigger, but that's okay. Artistic liberty is what we're going to call it. Everyone is just chilling on the roof and everyone's thinking about it instead of taking cover. Alright, boys. That's what you get for not taking cover when you hear a helicopter coming. And why not mass up on the roof? And we've got just a massacre. Alright, get on our ATV and Polaris ATV. This goes back to the Arctic environment. I wonder if it's also Canadian ATV. And of course here we transition into the F-35. U.S. Air Force insignia on it, chased by the PAC-FA, aka the Su-57. There it goes. F-35 is dodging and weaving. Gonna get a rendezvous here. Would this be a realistic move? I think it would be, actually. If you're going vertical, your speeds are going to get down to a really low speed. I just don't think you'll be able to get back in the plane. That was interesting because it looked like he actually ejected and then aims, fires, and goodbye Russian plane. And he is firing from what looks like a Carl Gustav recoilless rifle. So not quite a bazooka, but a Carl Gustav, used by the United States Army and a whole bunch of NATO countries, but it's a Swedish or Norwegian weapon. And this guy's going to have to ride old school style because he's got nowhere to sit. Alright, so we switch back to this scene here, and we're back in the battle. F-35 is flying by, chased by that PAC-FA. It's probably the Su-57, however you want to call it. Oh, there we go. Up here we have a Longbow Apache variant. And that's what happens to an F-35. It hits the ground. Now what happened to our Russian plane? The PAC-FA makes it through because it is super maneuverable, unlike the F-35. And looks like he drops something. This guy's making a run for it. Big explosion and everybody's dead. Alright, here's our little bird again. And we've got our weather phenomenon. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's gonna rain. We should have brought an umbrella. Okie dokie. Now, the tank that they're standing next to, note the size of it compared to the soldiers. This is actually the T-14 Armata, the Russian main battle tank that was shown as of 2 years ago in the Russian May 9th parade. I think there's about 25 of them made so far. Russia is pushing very much for this tank to be their main battle tank, but it is horribly expensive. We've got a whole bunch of bags attached to it. I don't know why you would want to attach these bags to it. We do have the anti-RPG defenses here on the side. And let's see here, what else? Most will break up like it. But yeah, no, this is definitely the T-14 Armata. You can definitely tell by the design of it and the shape of the turret. The interesting thing about the T-14 Armata is it's designed so that the entire crew sits in a capsule in the middle of the tank. There's nobody in the turret. The turret is unmanned, and I don't think that's going to help it against a a Hurricane. I wonder if a Hurricane will actually be able to pick up a tank. Somehow I don't think it would. Espinoza, sorry buddy, you're going vertical, buddy. Alright, electric city scooter, beautiful. Gotta move on. And yeah, we've got Korean riding, because this is definitely happening in one of the two Koreas. I'm guessing in South Korea. And we've got a couple of helicopters here. Those are H-64s getting blown around with the longbow radar on top. I don't think you guys would be getting sucked up into the air. I think the way this works is the wind doesn't just pick you up into the air and drag you into space. You start spinning. Now, if we look back, we have the flag of I think that's Norway, and I think that's Latvia or Lithuania. Yeah, this is for some reason we have international flags all around. As though we are in New York and this is the United Nations. Maybe it's a bank of some kind. Yeah, there we go. So we've got a Russian flag here as well, flying around because it's beautiful. This is actually funny. Why walk when you can fly? Nice little joke and Easter egg there. I don't think jumping out in a flying squirrel suit's going to help you. Exactly. You're just going to get sucked back in. There we go. There's that H-64. We can see that it does have the radar on top, and that H-64 is in neutral. Alright guys, so there you have it. Hopefully you liked my review of the trailer and it's interesting for you. Leave a comment, and of course subscribe to the channel and share this out.